What you need to know about iron and water treatment coming up. This is the Water Quality Association podcast, promoting the betterment of water quality around the world.
You're right, there is no single solution for reducing all the forms of iron. So if you're fortunate and you have one particular form of iron present, that's pretty easy. But when you have a multitude of forms of iron present, that becomes a real issue. And then co-contaminants can literally cloak the iron.
And in this episode, we get an in-depth look at how to treat iron in drinking water. Hello, I'm Wes Bleed. Our guest is Richard Mest, past president of WQA and Hall of Fame honoree. Richard will be presenting 2 sessions at the upcoming WQA Convention and Expo in Long Beach, California, April 22nd through the 24th. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the podcast so you never miss a show. We also feature our podcasts on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/@WaterQualityAssociationVideos. In this podcast, we'll talk about the variables when treating iron in water, why there is no one-size-fits-all solution. We'll preview the 2 sessions about iron contamination insights at the convention. And we'll ask Richard about long-term water solutions and what concerns him the most when it comes to the water treatment industry. Plus, we'll have our WQA tip. It's all coming up on the Water Quality Association podcast. We're so glad to have Richard Mest as our guest in the podcast today. We're going to be talking about his presentation coming up at the WQA convention, all about iron. And so, Richard, let me give you a quick introduction for the folks listening. You're Director of Special Programs for A.O. Smith. For many years, as many people know, you ran Master Water Conditioning. You're past WQA president, past president of the WQRF, past Lifetime Membership Award, as well as a recipient of the WQA Hall of Fame as well. And, it's probably the only thing that's bad about any of that I said was there are probably not enough awards to give you. So welcome to the show, and thanks for, again, being a guest. You've been, one of my very first guests, interesting fact. You had come by WQA in the early days of my connection with the company, starting out in 2016. And you were kind enough to be a guest on the show as we were just launching the podcast. So welcome back.
Thank you very much.
All right, I'm going to start with a true or false question to get things going here. And we're talking about iron. So, Richard, true or false, iron is one of the most common issues when it comes to water treatment?
Absolutely true.
Tell me why.
Iron is one of the most prevalent metals in the earth. And therefore, as groundwater percolates through the soil, it tends to pick up iron. Regionally, iron can be more severe, but overall, nationally, most of our dealers and customers are dealing with iron treatment.
So as we talk about iron, as you present about iron at the convention in California, tell us about what maybe one of the most common notions about iron that water treatment professionals get wrong.
The most important thing to me in this regard is identifying the specific type of iron as well as the presence of interfering co-contaminants. And Wes, as you know, we're talking more about co-contaminants when it comes to health-related contaminants like PFAS and things. So it's really important to understand that performing a water test to speciate the form of iron, you really need to understand if it's bacterial iron, if it's precipitated iron, if it's iron in solution, and then understand the co-contaminant influencers that might just make it more difficult to separate the iron from the water.
All right, so it sounds like this is a little bit more complex than just simply saying, "Hey, let's install a water softener." Right? It's more than that.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about some of the variables that you'll need to consider.
Yeah, so dissecting the prerequisites for each iron reduction technology. First of all, we have to understand the customer's water quality expectations, and then their sensitivity to a technology that might be greener or save water or be less chemical. And then what their usage patterns are. Is this simply for them to take showers and have clean laundry and protect their plumbing? Or do they expect to irrigate? Or do they expect to fill a swimming pool? Or do they expect to run garden hoses all day long? Or is it a farm? Is it processed water? All those things we have to better understand, especially with iron. And then understanding the water source and its stability. If it's a groundwater supply and even surface water supplies, weather is a major factor, especially in surface water. So you can go from low to high concentrations of iron, and a groundwater supply drought can create excessive levels of iron, or over pumping can create fluctuations of iron. And then understanding the source water quality and just some of the things to look for: alkalinity, hardness, iron, manganese, natural organic matter, pH, if there's sulfur present, what the total dissolved solids are, what's the turbidity, and that's just to name a few.
So I take it there's no one-size-fits-all solution. Would that be the way to look at this? There is no single solution. So why would that be, or what would one want to keep in mind then as one is developing a solution?
Yeah, that's great question, Wes. And iron is one of the most challenging contaminants we deal with because of the pattern of how it changes from the forms it can go into and the co-contaminants that can interfere. And you're right, there is no single solution for reducing all the forms of iron. So if you're fortunate and you have one particular form of iron present, that's pretty easy. But when you have a multitude of forms of iron present, that becomes a real issue. And then co-contaminants can literally cloak the iron. And I always like to use Harry Potter as a reference. When Harry Potter puts on the cloak, he's invisible, but it doesn't last forever. So there's a temporariness to that cloaking, but it really matters because it could allow your system to work and then sporadically not work. And then water source quality and quantity. Again, the impact of weather cycles and certain parts of the country, seismic activity. If you have a tremor or a minor earthquake, the geology can totally change. And when you're dealing with iron, you have to be totally prepared. And then geography really matters because what you accomplish in one part of the country, you may not be able to replicate in another.
So we are having a national convention. There will be water treatment professionals from the entire United States as well as outside of the country as well. And your session, is it 2 sessions that you're going to be dealing with iron at this convention? And how will attendees take back some practical applications?
Yeah, Wes, thanks for the question. I'm really excited about this presentation because it is 2 conversations. In the first session, we'll explore how iron contaminants behave under different geochemical conditions across North America. We're going to gain insights into the factors that influence iron's presence in water and the treatment technologies designed to manage those. And then we're going to build a strong foundation in understanding iron contaminants and their behavior, setting the stage for effective treatment in your specific service area. And then in the second session, this is an incredible interactive brainstorming session. We'll apply the concepts that we talk about in the first session to really dial them into your specific local challenges. And to accomplish that, we've brought a group of experts from around the country who bring their particular insights into how the geography back home really allows them to do things that maybe are impossible in other places. And lastly, there's going to be a ton of time for Q&A and collective problem solving. And again, I'm super psyched about it.
You'll want to take that in if you're attending the WQA convention and expo coming up in Long Beach, California, April 22nd through the 24th. Richard Mest, our guest today, talking about the upcoming session that he'll be leading. And again, joined by many other experts within the industry, within the WQA membership. So if we could broaden the conversation just a bit, Richard, to talk about maybe some of your your many years of experience, as you look forward, what are some of the longer term technology treatment options that you can see down the road?
Wes, leveraging higher efficiencies, taking a look at water, the flow rate and the volume that we process, looking at conservation if regeneration is required, and the use of chemicals, leverage using nature's technologies. And then with chemicals, less is typically better than more. And the other is microbes, technology advancements using disinfection and barrier filtration to handle microbes. And then, of course, there'll be some specialty medias that are being developed now. But I'm really excited about where the industry is headed with this technology. And we're pushing the boundaries of some of the current technologies. And I think you're going to be surprised the magic that's going to take place.
Well, that's a great point. And the theme of the convention this year is innovation. So that ties right in there. But anything else that excites you as you look forward and get that crystal ball out?
Yeah, the increased opportunity to bring healthy water to everyone. I'm so proud to wake up every day and be in the water quality improvement industry. You think about, other people and what their jobs are. And not that they're not important, but when I look at what we do and the professionals in our industry do, you almost pinch yourself because we get to make an incredible resource. We get to protect it, we get to improve it, and we get to make it whatever water quality that client needs. Promoting our industry, it's science, technology, products, and people. Leveraging the great research and outreach at WQRF, and it truly is game-changing. And I also want to share that I truly believe we're in a transformational period for our industry. And we have the ability right now to set the stage for success for decades to come.
What do you think that looks like? You say transformational.
Yeah, I think, I spent a lot of time in the government affairs space, and the class of PFAS contaminants have really been a sort of an invitation to conversations that we were barred from in the past. And I'm talking real conversations where we're not being talked at, we're being talked with. And when we sit down with legislators and regulators, especially at the state level, the states have real concerns about contaminants, and PFAS was sort of the wake-up class of contaminants, but they're revisiting lead and other contaminants that they've been dealing with and struggling with, and they're realizing that our industry is a true partner in bringing healthy water to people in their states. So yeah, I'm really excited about that, and you're going to continue to see that again be transformational for all of us.
And it's great to know, Richard, that as we record this, you're just about to head to Washington for the DC fly-in, the congressional fly-in that WQA hosts every year. We appreciate your involvement in that. So if those are your, if that's your vision of excitement, is there also, I don't want to get too negative here, but are there some concerns along the way as well?
Yeah, absolutely. As I thought about this, my number one is complacency. We can't stop seeking improvement. We can't stop promoting our industry. We have to scream from the rooftop of what we do, what our potential is, and that we are a tool for success. We also have to never forget that we, as the participants in the industry through WQA, we are the voice of water quality improvement. And at the end of the day, we are WQA. And I would just, we need more and more people to get active and roll up their sleeves, because complacency is going to hurt our industry. And then influencers. There's a multitude of voices impacting water resource management and quality decision-making. And, some of them have relevance, but unfortunately, Wes, some of them do not. And we have to recognize that. And again, we have to do something about it. And then again, just engagement, the lack of engagement. we're all really busy in our day-to-day lives, but we have to find a way to just spend a little bit of time. WQA can help structure that to keep your time efficient, to leverage you as a resource. And, we have tremendous talent around the country. And when we activate those boots on the street, we can't be stopped. But again, complacency, influencers, and engagement, they concern me because we have to make sure that we attack those in a positive way.
Speaking of positive, to go back to that, the WQA convention, which we've been talking about, at which you will be presenting, as you have often in the past as well. And, with that experience that you've had and the connections you've made, give just again, for somebody listening and watching this, what is the value of the convention?
To me, it's the best investment I've ever made in my professional career. I look at WQA in the conference, and first of all, I think of networking, and I look at networking in products, in technologies, in people, and then in your involvement. And then I think about knowledge and what you learn about business practices and managing your team and how you improve your customer outreach and how you can promote smart growth, and then understanding the science of water. And then, of course, research, WQRF studies, how to empower research for your personal and business growth, and again, involvement. And lastly, and probably most important, is building lifelong relationships and friendships. It's amazing the family of people that I have in the industry. And that's all because of the conventions that WQA provides.
Yeah. Well, Richard, thank you. You mentioned friendships a few moments ago, and I can't think of a better friend of WQA than Richard Mest. So it's a pleasure to talk with you, gain your expertise. One final question, if you don't mind. I almost forgot. But we're always interested in individuals within the industry you think our listeners and viewers would like to hear from. Can you name one?
Yeah, Margaret Martens from Water Systems Council. She's amazing. She deals with groundwater, the protection of it, the protection to actually access it, and then how the Water Well Trust that she's the executive director of leverages industry fundraising as well as USDA grants to bring Americans safe groundwater that they currently can't afford. So yeah, Margaret Martens.
And interesting, we have had Margaret on the show. It's been a while, so maybe it's time to have her back. Appreciate the idea.
Yeah, absolutely, Wes.
Great. Well, Richard, again, thanks for for everything you have done for WQA, and we look forward to seeing you at convention and hearing from you at this valuable presentation about iron. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Wes. It's an honor.
Our WQA tip: did you know that you can find WQA members in your area by heading over to our website and typing in your zip code? It's that simple. You'll even be able to see which staff members are professionally certified. It's another great benefit of being a WQA member. Learn more about becoming a member at wqa.org/membership. Thanks for joining us for the Water Quality Association podcast, bringing you the latest news and insights from the association, our members, and outside experts, all to help you grow your business and serve your customers. Learn more about water and water filtration at our consumer website, betterwatertoday.org. And learn more about professional certification, product certification, and how you can become a member at WQA.org. Until next time, this is Wes Bleed. So long from the Water Quality Association.